Hi everyone, if you're listening to Technical Earth Syndicate Podcast, Episode 1. With me is Chris Stewart. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Alright. Chris and I have gone back a long ways, back in high school. I don't even know how many years, eight something years?
8, 10, something like that. Been a long time.
Yeah. Well, this is our first time doing a podcast, and we want to, express ourselves and, show our listeners what we talk about and whatnot. I'm kind of a tech enthusiast. I love technology. I love it. I love video games, all that kind of stuff. I want to talk about that within our shows in the future. This episode is basically a test episode that we're going to be doing, just kind of showing us, showing you guys what we're about. We have Chris Stewart on the line with us, and we'll have Alan Gray with us as well. He's out camping right now, so he's not able to join us. Go ahead, Chris. Tell everybody about yourself.
Well, I'm more or less the same as Mike. I'm into tech, video games. I'm more into video games, I think, than Mike is nowadays. He's been pretty busy with his kid, so it's understandable. Yeah. But I make up for it.
You'll be getting your own kid pretty soon, probably.
Don't jinx me. But my gaming time is starting to dwindle down as well because I'm in the Air Force, so I'm pretty busy with work all the time.
Yeah.
But we try to make time whenever we can.
Oh yeah, that's how we pretty much spend our weeks. We get together and game every once in a while or talk or whatever. But
right.
But now you get to listen to us. Anybody that really cares, anyways. Our show is going to be about gaming, entertainment, technology, pretty much anything. Chris and I are both on the side of we like PC, we like Mac, we pretty much like any kind of technology. We love it.
Yeah.
We don't really share any discriminating views upon, you can't like that, you can't like this. We used to be that way, I want to say, or narrow-minded, and we kind of just followed the herd a little bit. But
yeah, I think we've gotten better about that, though.
Oh yeah,
we're a lot more accepting nowadays.
Definitely. Like I said, Alan Gray can't join us. He's going to be a big part of this too. We'll probably have some other people on throughout the year. Close friends. You never know who wants to. Hey, if any of you listeners want to get on the show, you can contact me. I'll have my email put on at the very end of the show so you can follow or whatever.
Yeah, and we're hoping if this thing picks up really well, then we'll probably set up a Skype line for people to call in and give their thoughts on whatever topic we're going over at the moment.
Right. Well, I still got to get a Twitter account set up for this, Facebook, YouTube channel. I'll be doing that within the week. We'll probably have everything set up by next Friday. Every Friday is a new show. Basically, we're going to try to pump out a decent amount of time for each show. I'm thinking about 30, 39, 40 minutes. Not too long, but just enough time. It all matters basically how much time we have during the week, because we're both pretty busy people, and our other friend Alan is pretty busy as well with school. But here we are. We're basically going to be sharing our views. We'll even throw in reviews for products. I actually got a little bit of a review today. I picked up the Apple TV, but we'll discuss that here in a little bit. What else should we discuss on the show, Chris?
Well, we've got they just announced Max Payne coming out, the first one on iOS on April 12th. It's coming out on the iPhone, iPod Touch, iPad, all the iOS devices, and we're going to be covering that a little bit.
Later on Android, actually, too. We'll see if that happens. Right. Android usually gets shafted. I love them to death, but, I guess it's just business, So, let's talk a little bit about, I'll talk about, since you don't have one. You already heard it kind of enough about from last week when I picked one up, but I bought the new Apple TV 1080p model. It's pretty nice. I've been using it quite often. I downloaded a few different shows. I had to download Reboot. That's a classic. it does cost a little extra money if you want to own the shows and everything. There's renting of movies and you can buy TV series. Some of them are ridiculously expensive. I mean, it's iTunes, you know.
Yeah, just I think I saw Walking Dead season 1 for like $30-$40.
$34 in HD. The first season and second season I think is the same price.
Right, and then a lot of channels like I've noticed Fox, they have the New Girl for $50. Like a lot of the shows like that, like depending on the companies, they'll jack up their prices a lot.
WB has a big problem with that. They'll try to charge about $50 each or a pop. Like what was it? Star Wars Clone Wars was $50, and I was like, that's ridiculous. You know, like I'm not gonna pick that up right now. Maybe when it goes on sale. I did, however, I picked up The Big Bang Theory season 5. Big fan of that show. People love it or hate it, kind of thing. But you know, Chris has yet to watch it, so we can't really review that too much. But anyways, the Apple TV, it comes with a power cable, a remote, and that's it. It does not come with an HDMI cable, which it kind of depressed me a little bit that you only pay $99 for it, but there was no HDMI cable. They are cheap. I would not recommend buying those at stores like Best Buy or whatever. They'll try to charge you like $20 to $50 for one.
Yeah, Amazon, you can get a decent one for $3-4.
Yeah, I think I got one. Yeah, I got two gold-plated whatever for what, $4? I bought two of them or something like that. Yeah. Within the Apple TV box, it has a HDMI port on back, a power port, an Ethernet port, a micro USB for service and diagnostics, I guess. That's what I found out what it was. I talked to you last time about it, and I guess it's just for if you got to reset it or something like that using iTunes.
Yeah.
Apple does advise that you use or try to have at least 10 megs of internet speed or higher. For good streaming. That's another thing I forgot to talk about. The device actually streams from the Apple servers of products you bought. You no longer have to, download them and, waste hard drive space or whatever. You can use their actual cloud server they use with iCloud, which is pretty cool. Now there are other devices if you're not a big Apple fan or if you don't want to use iTunes, there's like the Rokia and some other ones. Like even Xbox has a service that uses the Zune, something like that. I think it's Zune.
The Zunes all connect to the Xbox. And
the Zune Marketplace has a bunch of those shows, but I noticed they're a little more expensive than Apple TV, iTunes stores.
Yeah, and I haven't looked on it myself, but I can't imagine that it has quite the same selection as Apple does, because Apple's a lot more mainstream, and so people are more willing to put their things on the iTunes.
It has a majority of it, I think. There might be some that aren't on there, and there's actually some stuff that I was a little depressed that aren't on iTunes yet.
Right.
They have HD versions of almost everything, but not quite everything yet. Like 300. I was thinking about buying 300 just for kicks. I was seeing what the price was. They have just the standard definition widescreen on there, not 1080p, which kind of sucks. But they did make that onto Blu-ray, I believe. And Watchmen was the same thing. It was all in standard definition instead of HD.
Yeah.
So give it time. They'll do justice with it. The 1080p is it's pretty cool. I did see the 720p version of the Apple TV, and it's still a good thing to have, but if you never owned an Apple TV, you could upgrade, or whatever. I played around with AirPlay. Apparently, with some apps, there can be lag within your network or something. I was playing, I picked up the Bard's Tale on there recently and played it on my TV. It's not full AirPlay, but it's pretty good. Quality, there's no real lag or anything. You're kind of just playing like a standard definition, game on your TV. I did manage to play Beat Hazard. That streams in 1080p from your iPad, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or iPhone, whatever Apple product you have that has wireless in it.
Yeah, AirPlay is really cool. I almost want to get it just for that, so I can play Infinity Blade on my TV.
Yeah, they're slowly letting, or the developers are slowly transferring that Apple TV AirPlay technology over to their games, and some of them have it, some of them don't.
Now, how does the virtual keyboards or virtual controllers work? Like, does it work pretty well on the TV, or is it a little bit difficult, like looking at it?
No, it's not. It's not too difficult. Think of like a touchpad, like for a computer or something.
Right.
You basically, like I'm trying to select a show. I move my finger down with the Apple remote on the iPad or the iPhone. It works really good. Like it's pretty spot on. When you stop your finger, it stops. So
yeah.
It's pretty cool. I've been using actually for some of my other content that's not on iTunes. I've been using a program called Air Video. It's an app. It's like a $2.99 app on the App Store, and you download a program that creates a server on your computer, say your Microsoft computer or your Mac if you have one or whatever. You can actually stream all that content and use your Apple iPad or iPhone as a relay to your Apple TV, and you can use AirPlay that way as well.
Right.
Some web pages actually support AirPlay too, like some video sites and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But overall, like I'll give the Apple TV a 9 out of 10. It's not just because I'm an Apple fanboy. I do love Windows too, guys. I do love Windows too. I'm not just I love Apple. Like I have a gaming PC built up, so. But a 9 out of 10. There's some features that is not there. Hulu Plus is not on there. HBO Go is not on there, even though I don't have cable or satellite. It doesn't really matter to me with those. And then Hulu Plus, I use my Xbox, of course. But I'm not too sure what's going on with the companies, like why the app's not on the store on the Apple TV, but we'll see. Anyways, did you have any more thing to add for like you were interested in about it?
Well, yeah, I am pretty interested in the Apple TV, but like a big deciding factor for me right now is the price. It's $100 for the box itself.
Yeah.
And then the TV shows, like I don't watch that many shows, but the ones that I do watch are pretty expensive on there. And then there's no option to like rent the TV shows like you do with the movies, which is something that I would really be interested in. But and like for me right now, I'm getting a pretty decent deal with my cable company. Like I'm paying probably $20 a month for cable, and I get most of the channels that I watch. I got AMC for Walking Dead and Fox and stuff for the New Girl, whatever. But if they were ever to bring it where you could rent the TV shows, that'd be like a day one purchase. Like the day after, I would probably get.
That would be fantastic. I think they may shoot for that. I mean, Apple's gonna be coming out with that Apple iTV or whatever. They haven't really named it, but it's gonna be actual TV set. They were saying something about maybe doing like a subscription based to networks, if the networks will allow them. Maybe. Yeah. I'm not too sure. I heard little rumors here and there. Apple's pretty hush hush about what they do.
But yeah, other than that, the AirPlay is really cool. That's a pretty sweet feature about that. And so like if I ever have to cancel my cable for whatever reason, and
it's a cool investment if you actually want to own certain things. I think.
Right, and like for you have your little kid, and so I don't know how she is with like discs and stuff, but like I imagine a lot of people like they have.
I prefer digital media over a disc or something.
Right, it's easier to move with for one, and you don't have your kid if they have a problem with taking discs out and leaving them all over the place or breaking them. You can just it's on the cloud, so you don't have to worry about that sort of thing.
Yeah, nothing to worry. Except if my computer ever craps out, if I have some of the files on there that I don't want to stream or whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's a pretty cool device. I recommend getting it if you're an Apple fan. Even if you're not an Apple fan, it's something worth looking into if you don't have cable or if you want to actually physically, or if you don't mind getting rid of that physical, DVD disc or Blu-ray disc. I don't mind it. I like digital formats, And if it ever comes a time where I lose that, I lose it, whatever, hey. But on to our next subject before we run out of too much time. Max Payne's coming to iOS and Android later on this year, but iOS is going to be coming out April 12th. I'm not too sure how I feel about it. It is one of my favorite games of all time, but I don't know if did you buy Grand Theft Auto 3 on the iPad?
I did not,
Okay.
because I have it on Steam. So
Right. Well, the controls kind of transferred over okay. Driving a car on Grand Theft Auto on the iPad was not fun. Like, I'm not too fond of touch controls, but I'll still do them. It just takes getting used to. I am a little worried about like the gunplay and everything with Max Payne. I think it's cool that they're doing it, but I would rather see a HD port of it on the consoles or the PC or something like that. Like,
like HD collection on PS3 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, or like an updated. Like I can play Max Payne. I have played it recently, and you can play it on widescreen. I can play it at 1950 by 1080 on my computer, which I guess they don't really need an HD port of it. But there was issues doing it. I had to do this patch that fixed the audio and stuff like that, because there was no audio being played when you just load it up. So I think it would have been cool if they would have really released it or something like that.
Yeah.
But as for now, it's cool. It's on the iOS. Really have no problem with that. I do see that Android users get shafted as usual for apps. It's whoever pays the bigger bucks. I guess it's the same thing with exclusive content that comes to Xbox that PlayStation 3 doesn't get, or vice versa.
Right.
Everything's cool with the technology, with phones and tablets and everything like that. But nothing will ever beat a controller when you're playing some of these older games.
Yeah, and that's like one of the things that I'm a little bit concerned about with Max Payne. Like you were saying, now the GTA 3 controls kind of were okay, but there's a little bit more features in Max Payne than GTA. Like you got the bullet time, of course.
Right.
So you're gonna have obviously a bullet time button on the screen,
and a shooting button, and a
shooting
jump button,
and a jump button, and all this other stuff. It's gonna take up a lot of screen space, and
I can't imagine
I
can't imagine for iPhone users how small that's gonna be.
Right.
Like I'm fine with the iPad. I mean, what is that? A 10-inch screen somewhere around there?
Yeah, something like that.
But they do have these. Apple doesn't make them, but they're like these little rubber analog sticks that you can attach to your screen. They're a little suction cup. Well, you can add those to yours for a better feel, I guess, for it. But I haven't tried it. One of those out. I haven't seen them in a while actually. But they seem like that could work with those kind of games, but it's still probably hard to control. It's just it's like riding a bike again. You got to learn how to do a different control format. So.
Yeah. But possible technical issues aside, it's a pretty good thing that's coming out. Like they got Max Payne 3 coming out pretty soon.
Oh yeah.
There might be people.
I want to play.
There's probably people who haven't played the other games in the series. Like I actually haven't even finished the first Max Payne myself. So.
Oh man, you gotta get that done.
Well, I'll add that to the list.
Yeah.
But it's a good opportunity to get a little bit caught up in the story and play a pretty decent classic.
Yeah, it is one of those games that if you miss playing, you have to play it no matter what. I mean, and if you don't want to play the tablet version of it, you don't have to. It's on Steam. Like I said, there's some problems. You have to kind of patch it yourself for getting the audio to play right. But Max Payne 1 and 2 are on Steam. That's about the only digital store I know that has it. I'm sure you could find a copy of it on eBay or something, but I don't recommend doing that. But it is a cool little thing. There's no price on it yet. I guess they'll announce that a day or two before. Rockstar is like that usually. They kind of threw out Grand Theft Auto 3 on the iPad and the iPhone randomly. They were like, "Hey, guess what we have for you?"
Yeah, and how much was that on the iOS?
That was
$10-15.
No. It was $5, I think. $4.99 somewhere in there. Yeah, it was cheap. It was relatively cheap.
Yeah, Max Payne will probably be around the same price, I would think.
I hope so. I mean, Max Payne was like, 15 hours, maybe a little less than that.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. I haven't played it in years. But let's go ahead and wrap it up. This is just kind of a pre-show. I know we've talked for quite a while, a little bit more than usual. It's almost a full show. But thanks for listening to Technical Nerve Syndicate. You can listen to us every Friday evening, and you have a nice day. As we end this episode, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Emerald Coast Productions, and to our listeners. If you have any rants, comments, suggestions about our new show, please email me at techearthsyndicate@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and please don't text while driving. It may save your life. Until next time, Technical Earth Syndicate signing off.